Hello, everyone. My name is Lynan Saperstein from The Experience Experts. I am a luxury marketing and branding expert, and I work mostly in the travel and tourism industry, but I also am the founder of the Trailblazers Retreat, so I'm extremely passionate about live experience and really creating powerful transformational experiences in the world, and I've been doing that since 2013, and I have a lovely co-host who I'll allow to introduce herself.
Thank you. So my name is Catalina. I live in Australia, and what I do is I help soul-centered and heart-centered entrepreneurs create amazing experiences as well through Events with Soul.
Amazing. Events with Soul. So tonight, or it's night for me, it's day in the US, it's morning in Australia. We wanted to kind of just open it up. This is like Q&A time. You can basically ask us anything. And Catalina has been chomping at the bit because she has a huge list of questions that she wanted to ask me last time we had the BLAB, and I blabbed too much. We didn't even have time to get to questions. So
that was so much fun anyway.
Today I promise I'm going to answer questions. And I'll talk a lot, and I'll try and give as much detail, but I'll also try and get through everything.
Well,
for you,
we can do our best, but it's okay. Like, if it's okay if you take your time, because that's what we want, right?
Exactly. And I think that's it. Like, even if we were on for 24 hours live and we talked the whole time, right? I don't think we could cover everything. And that's the crazy part about this. And I know you know this from Events with Soul, but every time you host an event, you learn more. You learn more about yourself. You're gonna hit obstacles. Things are gonna go wrong. Like, we make a joke that there's almost every single one of my retreats, there's been some form of a car accident, and this is really like a horrible thing, but it's been happening since the very beginning. And so we kind of just roll with the punches, and we work together, and we don't get beaten down. And and there have been times I wanted to like cry, but you know what? It's just stuff's gonna happen. How can you be resilient? How can you persevere? How can you keep going? And so we're just going to try and give you guys as much information as possible. So what I'll say is, if you're live on here, pop over into the chat. And then we're also probably going to open up the third seat if anybody has video and they're on their computer and they want to hop on and chat with us. But first, we're going to go through your juicy questions.
All right. Okay, so, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, what is the best time to host a retreat or even just an event that goes over a weekend? Well, like a short retreat. What do you think about that?
So when do you mean, like in a year? Like what month?
Yeah,
what
like
season?
what time of the year? What time of the year? What season? And when during the week as well. Because some people, when they want to do like a 2-day retreat, they're like, do I do it Thursday and Friday, Friday and Saturday, Sunday and Monday, Saturday and Sunday? Sure. Which one is better? So all of those options. So
there's four or five questions in that. What I would say, for season, like when in the year is best for a retreat, it can vary. It really can vary. I often say if you can sort of harness either like ideal weather, especially if you're going to be outdoors or there's some sort of nature component. But even then, it's like, when is it a good deal? Like, so I host a lot of events in Costa Rica, and they're actually peak season most of the year, like tropical weather, great weather. And there's about 4 months that all the airfares drop. And I always try and host events around that time because I know that it'll make it so much easier for people to say yes. But if you're doing something more locally or within your state or even within your country, and where it's airfare or people are driving in, which I've done, in California, it's much easier. You can kind of just fit it around your schedule. And this is something I've been teaching for years to entrepreneurs, that your business really should be wrapped around your lifestyle and how you want to live and what your schedule looks like. And, and you'll find the right customers and clients to fit into that mold. And it's still trying, but why not? Why not pick a date that works for your schedule, for your family, for whenever you want to have stuff? Why not do that? And then for like a 2-day or like when in the week, should I host it? It would always come back to who's your ideal client. So are they working? Are they 9-to-5ers? Are they working professionals? Because if the people that you're targeting are working professionals, you want to go with a weekend. And in New York, I attended a lot of seminars, and that's why I sort of understand the model. And I worked with a couple coaches there. They did a lot of Friday night, so after work, kind of to start it. And then they did Saturday and then Sunday, and sometimes Sunday they got out early and they would get to kind of, have a little bit of the weekend. But a Saturday, Sunday works great. Saturday, Sunday works great. People have that availability. The Trailblazer gathering that we had in Lake Tahoe and then the one that we had in Los Angeles they were Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it worked fine. But if you work with moms, right? Maybe they're like stay-at-home moms. Maybe you do a Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe you can do something in the middle of the week. It's really talking to and surveying and asking. And we'll be talking about this on the special training that we're putting together for next week. But how to really start to survey and speak to your potential customers and ask specific questions so you can get specific types of answers for your specific people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. Did that answer good? Yeah. Sort of.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions about that,
they can pop them
on the chat. If they don't want to jump in. That answers my question.
Okay.
I think you're absolutely right. Because it's just about the seasons. You work with that. If there's a place where you're going that it has a wet season, you don't want to be there in that because it's
but you might. Some people like to have that lodge feel and everybody's sort of around a fire, and so I would never host something in the snow because I don't like the snow. Like, don't like it. But if that was your zone and that's what you love, have something when it's snowing out and some outdoor activities and bring everyone in, have hot cocoa by the fire. So whatever your vibe is, whatever you're into.
That's a very good point. Good point. Okay. So I also wanted to know how big is too big? Like how many people are good to have in a retreat? How many people are too many for a group?
Yeah, this is I think it's subjective. I used to do marketing for coaches who have about 150 people at their retreats. Per week, and they do a 7-day retreat, and so it's huge. It's massive. It's a massive event, and so I always kind of dreamed of having this huge retreat like that. And my first retreat had, I think we had 35 people, and then we had 2 canceled, so it was 33 people. It was a lot of people. Like 30 people is a lot for a retreat, and but it was awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. It was great. I had many people in the door. And I think we talked about it on the call last week. Sometimes you have to kind of stair step or start small with 3 or 5 people and kind of do that. And then I also have friends who prefer small groups and don't want to go bigger. And so there's no such thing as too big, but there's a lot more logistics when you have that many people.
You need more help with that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you would need to have a steady business. I would say if this is your first retreat, don't go for such a big number. Unless you have a huge list, unless you already have this thriving business where, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are following you. And if those people are following you, then maybe you can sell to them. You can sort of have this upsell into this experience. And also, there are ways to market a bigger event, right? And it's less retreat, and it could be more like a transformational workshop, which is shorter, either a day retreat, like we talked about last time. And maybe it's to catch lots of different people. So maybe bringing in lots of different speakers. That's one of the models that I use is actually inviting people to speak at my retreat to bring audience, so we can kind of have this cool melding pot of people that all come from different sort of studying and different type of entrepreneurship for my people. And so it's very interesting. It's this fun formula that comes together. We have friends that there's like Goddess on the Go and Goddess Unleashed in San Diego. And it's usually about 50 to 100 women. And it's a varied group, but it's less intimate and less personalized, and it's more like a conference. So you're where there's still potential for transformation, right? There's still potential for breakthroughs. It has less one-on-one. One of the things that people always say about Trailblazers Retreat consistently, who come, say they have one-on-one time with everyone who attends. You know, people maybe they would have never met before. And for me, that's valuable. And for me, that's important part of the retreat. So you're playing with that. And I think the other piece is how much can you sell? You know, how many spots can you sell? And have you found a venue or a destination that can support this size? You know, if you're hosting a retreat of 150 people, you're going to really disqualify a lot of different venues because you need one that can you have to have a conference room that fits everybody comfortably. They have to have enough beds, maybe. They need to have enough food service for all that. So again, logistics of a large group, you know, bigger than I would say even 40 will start to get a little bit more pressing. And then you need to have either staff or you need to even have more money to put up front to invest.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely say that if you're going to host something that is larger than even 30 people, and sometimes even if it's your first time and it's a smaller group, just 20 people, you definitely need help. Don't do it alone. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and we know, you know, you're an event planner. I do supportive work for this, but they're asking and inviting and help will take you so much farther in hosting a live event. It will just make it flow much more easily. And that way you can stay in your zone of genius. You know that from the people you've worked with. Like if you're distracted with all the details, you can't stay in your teacher guide position. You just can't do it.
Facilitator. You can't.
Yeah.
But also what I wanted to say to what you said as well is that I forgot.
It'll come back.
Very good point.
It'll come back. Well, so a bunch of people are joining us. Hello, welcome. If you have a specific question, especially around something we're specifically talking about, or even just randomly a question about what to do when you're planning a retreat, pop it in questions below, or request to join us if you're on your computer and you want to chat with us.
I remember now.
Okay, perfect.
I was gonna say that I actually think in this is my personal opinion, that I also prefer more intimate events because I feel that the transformation that happens there is just deeper. And you just said that yourself, right? Like there's potential for transformation in a bigger event, but it's just different. It's different feel. People don't get to do one-on-ones, and that might not be what you want to offer. So,
and it might be challenging for people who are more introverted, because when it's smaller, you're kind of like forced to talk to everybody. But when it's so big, you can easily kind of blend in and not have to interact and maybe bypass some of the transformation that's possible.
That's right. And the thing is that it will be sometimes awkward at the beginning, but at the end of the she's like always
awkward.
But at the end, they're like so grateful that it was like that and that they went through that discomfort.
Yeah. And I think I would even say that, you know, I went on a transformational event and they made us really uncomfortable, and to the point where I was like violently uncomfortable. But, you know, adding a little bit of discomfort or getting people out of their comfort zone can be really helpful to sort of break down the barriers or get them kind of uninhibited so they can kind of get in there and get dirty right away. And so any way that you can sort of create that uncomfortability, I would encourage you to do it.
So we have a question from Casey. She asked, do you have a team of like-minded people to run the retreat with you, or are you the only one leading the retreat?
So the way that Trailblazers Retreat is formatted is I'm the retreat leader. So technically I'm the one in charge, but I do bring workshop leaders or speakers in. So I have some time to I always say to step back and get to be a participant, because retreats are so juicy to me that I like to be a part of the transformation as well. And I think I spoke about this last week, but that I transform so much during my events as well. So I invite speakers in, and it's always been sort of divinely conjured. I follow my intuition. People write me emails all the time and ask to speak at my retreats. And sometimes I'm a yes. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity. And sometimes I'm a no, just because it doesn't feel like the vibe that I'm creating. I just thank them. I say, let's stay in touch. You might be great for another event. So definitely attracting in like-minded people for sort of, whatever your vision for the event is, can be really great, and then give you some time to have either step back and take a deep breath and maybe have some alone time or unwinding time, or for you to sit down and be a student and to learn from somebody awesome. For me, it's also a powerful way to give my friends platforms to step into their greatness. And that's the way I've done it with Trailblazers is I'll see one of my friends just starting to hit their stride. And for me to be able to invite them to speak at my event is such a gift that I get to say, hey, I think you're on the cusp of something huge. Could you put together a workshop? Could, maybe we went together and invite them in. So that's the team of speakers. I think what we were sort of talking about before was more the logistical back end, kind of the team who does the emails and plans the shuttles and makes sure the payments are made and that all the questions are answered. And if you're doing something international, the flights are synced up and that everyone has directions and that everyone is taken care of. That's a whole nother type of team. Like there's a team when you're actually delivering the retreat, and there's the team that's sort of the before and after. Yeah. The one that uplifts you.
Yeah, that lets you step into that.
Casey, is that good? Like, shoot over in the comments if that's feeling like an answer. If you have more questions, let us know.
She's like, yes,
she says yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
Good,
awesome.
Good.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, you know what? I actually don't have my list of questions for me.
Let me open your questions because you sent them to me. I should have them, right?
And there's some very good ones. I don't want to miss any of them. There were just questions. That people have emailed me over time. Always ask.
Do you remember what the email was called?
No, sorry. No, that's okay. But I can also. In the meantime, ask you another question.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you're in the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we spoke last time about giving people time to integrate and to be on their own a little bit. I think in that there needs to be a little bit of balance. So how much time, like in terms of percentage, so say the whole weekend is 100% minus the time that people are sleeping. How much of the time is it enough for people to integrate? And that is not going to be perceived as, there are not enough activities.
Well, okay, first of all, I've never had anyone tell me there wasn't enough activities. Part of, I think I spoke about last week, is like being over prepared. I highly recommend it because you'll never have not enough stuff that way. But it's feeling sort of the energy, like if maybe there were a lot of tears in an exercise and something you facilitated, or something you facilitated, was a deeper type of exercise. I work a lot with authentic relating and circling, and do some eye gazing, and you guys can Google those things. Authentic World has a great free guide on the internet. And I think, when people become emotionally raw, right? sometimes they just need quiet time. And different people process in different ways, right? So some people need to be alone. Some people need to talk to other people. Some people need to be with nature. So giving them that opportunity. And one of the gifts that I have, and I can say this because I don't think it was something I knew that I had before, was I really know how to kind of find the flow of the week. And I think this is probably something that's innate in me, but I definitely feel like it's something that can be learned. And the more you host, so, you know, if you're wanting to host a retreat, do a 2-hour workshop, do a 1-day retreat and see how that goes. You know, play with it. It's sort of like, you know, trial and error and figuring out the flow and what works. And you're not going to be perfect all the time. And you're not going to please everyone. That's another thing that's worth saying. There are going to be people who want it to be their way. You know, like I had a retreat where just somebody who was attending didn't like how quickly things were moving just because that was their preference, to have it move a little bit more slowly. And I tell people that my retreats move very quickly because I feel like 7 days is not nearly enough to do all the things I want to do. And so we go deep really fast, and they wanted to kind of be like spoken to softly and having a lot more time to process. And so, you know, they came to me and told me that it was uncomfortable, and I had to, you know, listen and allow that as feedback because they are one of the participants. But I also had to invite them, because they had also manifested this experience for themselves, to quicken the pace and to maybe try new ways of processing. And one of the things I often recommend too is that processing alone is not as effective as processing when you have these amazing mirrors and people in front of you, and amazing leaders and speakers. So if you can invite them to, when they want to go to the room and process by themselves, maybe sit in the common area or talk to their roommate. That's why I often don't have a lot of people with single rooms in my retreats. I really like people to have that interaction and that support and make sure they can lean on somebody.
Yeah. And I think you touched on a very good point as well there. And is that I think that deep down, most of us are people pleasers. And we feel that we need to give people exactly what they want. And if someone comes to us and says, this is not exactly what I expected, we feel bad about it.
And we want to give them what they want.
Exactly. And I want to hear from you. What
are the tools that you have used
when that comes up for you during the retreat?
Well, I'm going to use, I don't know if it's going to be like the best example, but like animal training, like dog training, like you're the boss, like you're the leader. And they felt drawn to you. They felt called to work with you. They felt called to be on that transformational experience with you. And so for me, there's an amount of trust that's been given to me, and I hold that trust, and I remind them that they've put that trust in me, and that can they renew that trust in the experience, and that maybe in this moment it's uncomfortable, or they're triggered, or they feel scared, or whatever, and I can be with them. Like, actually, I've had people be very angry at me, like thinking I literally planned something to make them look bad, when really they were showing themselves something, and had to just be that clear mirror to feed back to them. So it's just having boundaries and protecting and knowing and being strong and confident in what you've created, and believing that what you've created is truly in their highest and in their best interest to continue and be a part of. And so as much as you can inspire that in them to keep going, even if it's uncomfortable and even if it's a little sticky, because it's not about making them, you know, happy, comfortable. It's about making them transformational, comfortable, and getting to the place that they want to be. Oops. Did we lose her? Or did we lose me? I'm here. Okay, well, we must have lost Catalina. So there's a few more of you who joined us. So basically, we're in the Q&A. we have an open forum here. Both my mind and Catalina's minds are open and ready for you guys. So is there anything specifically you want to know? Put it over in the chat. Yeah, Catalina has so much feedback. She has hosted a bunch of events. Oh, she's coming back. Hopefully we'll get her on in a second. I'm going to look for her questions on my phone. They've got to be here somewhere. All right, she's calling back. Can you hear us?
Someone had said as well that I had some feedback, so maybe now it's better.
Okay. Oh, because she's got her earphones on.
Yes. Is that why?
Okay. Hopefully it's better now.
So I have another question.
Okay.
This one is a juicy one, I think. What does it take for an event or an experience to be transformational?
What I would say is that this is sort of, again, subjective to each person. And actually, we have some people here who've been to my events. So I would love for them to maybe share what transformation means to them. Transformation is one of my core values, right? So transformation is not, for me, the system of change, which happens over time. Transformation is something that happens in an instant. This is something I learned from the coaches I trained with. And it's that moment when something clicks. It's just like, maybe the cogs kept missing, and one day they just go, and everything just feels like it works and it fits. Yeah. And whether it's a deeper understanding of yourself, maybe it's that eureka moment that, you know, you're going to commit to fitness and lose that weight, or maybe it's healing some form of trauma or tragedy in your life. Maybe it's that business inspiration that you want to, you know, find your dream. Maybe it's finding passion or joy in some way. I have my client who does couples and sexuality retreats. You know, maybe it's finding that sensual part of you. Maybe it's finding those lower chakras activated and feeling like a new person again. So transformation can mean so many things. And so finding out what that definition is for your ideal clients is so important. And, you know, just to speak to the way I did it with Trailblazers was, you know, it was an integration of personal growth and spirituality with running a business and being an entrepreneur and creating some form of a product that fills a void in the marketplace, and doing it in a way that's like a trailblazer, you know, doing something that's never been done before. And so would speak to, you know, for me, I saw a lot of trailblazers working themselves to the bone, just like on the verge of burnout. These are type A personalities. These are people who are high achievers, and they never took out time for themselves. They never were, you know, just finding that quiet space within to discover, to understand who they were. And so by creating the space of Trailblazers Retreat, by creating these experiences, by having this opportunity for connection not only with other people, with themselves in a deeper way, transformation was possible. No matter what it looked like. You know, we've had people rediscover, you know, their love for dancing or singing or laughing, you know, just like people have said that I haven't laughed this much, you know, or I needed to cry about that thing that happened because I just haven't cried about it. And, or, you know, people calling in love, you know, like I'm going to let go of that old hurt and I'm going to let myself be open to love again. You know, it's those small little breakthroughs that mean anything is possible. And no matter what sector you're in, I mean, literally, if it's fitness, health and wellness, food, entrepreneurship, you know, like I have a friend who's doing a courage retreat. I mean, literally, writing retreats, cooking retreats, you know, whatever your passion is, you can create a breakthrough. You can create a transformational moment where something switches, where they're different than they were a second ago. And not for any particular reason other than they're there showing up and saying yes and participating. And that something is just shift and become magical.
I love what you're saying about how transformation is just so different for each person.
Yeah,
because it's not a one size fits all, and it's not this is the type of transformation that I want to have at my retreat.
You can't, yeah, but you can plan for it. You can create the bubble,
the space,
maybe. Yeah, the bubble that it could be, and so there's a lot possible in that bubble. But yeah, like you can keep it open. You can keep it open, and there's lots of things possible.
So Casey asked another question, but just before I move on to that, while we're in transformation, I want to talk about, or ask you rather, in your marketing expertise, how is an accurate way to communicate in my copy that transformation? Because that's what people are looking for.
Sure. This is an important distinction. So we often say in marketing, I work, especially in retreats, I work from the end and go backwards. So where is someone, the day after they leave the retreat? What are the results and benefits? So what's happening for them at the very end? Almost like fast forward to the end of the movie. What's the final scene? I want to know about the final scene, because that's all people are buying. They're buying the final scene. A lot of us want to explain all the how you get there. It's like people don't buy the how. People buy that final scene where the girl is, catches the train and her dreams are coming true. Like, that's what people are buying. So if you can fast forward to the very, very end of the movie and how someone's going to feel, right, in their body, and maybe, if it's their relationship with, and whatever your topic is, whether it's fitness or yoga or wellness or, coaching or connection with women or sensuality or anything like that. Like, you can be very specific about what's going to be transformed. What is the end result and the benefits to their life. So the end result is like the big, what it looks like, and then all the things that come off of it. Like, maybe they're going to sleep better. Maybe they're going to, actually, one of my good friends, he uses this on his marketing in Australia. He says, better sex. You will have better sex. And he always says it. And he means it, because everybody who works with him has a much better sex life, because they're far more present in the moment with their partner. And so he says they have better sex. And so it's, what are the things that come off it? So maybe better sleep, better sex. You can also, be less salesy, and you can say, you just feel better in yourself, more self-love, maybe more patience, just more attention to yourself and taking care of yourself and maintaining those practices that you learn on the retreat, right? So a lot of my retreats, I talk about how I'm building a toolkit for them to take home, because life is not perfect and curveballs will be thrown at you. And I want to give you the tools to handle them. And so what I say as a benefit is that next time, that client,
X happens.
That big, colossal, catastrophic event happens, that man leaves you, whatever happens, you know how to deal with it. You know exactly who to turn to. You know what book to read. You know what podcast to pop on. You know who to call. You know exactly what to do next. And people want that sort of reassurance and want to sort of tap into that. Actually, I just realized we were both wearing orange. We're in like a orange sacral vibe stuff. And I wanted to sort of tap. I asked people who'd been to my retreats or coached with me what transformation meant for them. And Denis talked about just that moment where her perception of her business shifted like 180 degrees. It was just seeing her business in a completely different way. And Nina said that relationships that she's built with people at the retreats just last a lifetime. Like, that's a benefit, right? You're going to make like-minded friends that you're going to stay in touch with and have as your support system for the rest of your life because of this shared
you went through that together.
Experience. Yeah, and that's so juicy. And then let's see. Oh, a bunch of, yeah. A lot of people were having trouble getting on BLAB. It used to be so easy. I don't know if it's like just not compatible with a bunch of browsers. We may have to find something.
I don't know what's going on, but it's such a good platform. I love it because people can join in, and I think they're working on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So Casey asked, and this is a really juicy question in my opinion. It taps into who you are as a facilitator and just anyway. Did you ever feel like you weren't ready, but you did it anyway?
Well, of course. You have to actually. I went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition for my health coaching certification, and they had sort of a motto there. It's like, if you don't know what you're doing, do it anyway. Like, if you're scared, just do it anyway. If you're petrified, just keep doing it. So even if you feel like you're not ready, I invite you to take some form of a leap. And
when is someone ever ready?
Well, exactly. And so, we could talk about ready. If you're called to these calls, something is activated in you, something in your soul wants to do this. And that's why we hosted the sort of training call last week. We're hosting Q&A now, and we're going to do another training next week that's going to be really super specific. And I think this is it. It's, what does ready mean? Like, what does it mean? Does it mean somebody from heaven came down and said, "You're ready to host a retreat"? I mean, if I had waited till I was ready to do most things in my life, I would not do anything. I would just sit on my butt, and I would not get much done. Like with love, with my career, with moving, with travel, I would just sit and do nothing all day long. So what I would invite you to do is challenge yourself, take one or two steps that are out of your comfort zone. And again, I come back to, like, hosting this retreat is the biggest transformational thing that you can do for yourself. And that the transformation that's possible for your people, times it by 100, and that's what's going to happen in your life. So if you feel not ready, well, guess what? At the end, you're going to feel like so ready, like such a baller, like you can do anything. I think the other thing to do is, how can you maybe make a list of all of your skills and remind yourself how qualified. So screw ready, how qualified you are to share the information in your brain. I mean, this is one of the things one of my mentors said to me, like, I think about 5, 6 years ago. And she was literally like, it's your divine duty to get your expertise out of your head and into the minds of others.
The world.
And it's like, how can you do that? Any way you can do that. It's your duty. It's your duty to get it out there. And retreats and transformational events are only one facet to that, and that we're sharing. But there's so many other ways. But this is one that I find to be really powerful. And like I said, people want to get out from behind their computers and those sort of online programs and ebooks, and they want to see people in person, and they want to be able to have a hug, and they want to be able to have a heart to heart, with somebody who's sitting in front of them, and even if they're from across the world, me and Catalina sat in Bali and had our own little weekend retreat, and now we're halfway across the world from each other now, but we have those moments where we were sitting next to each other on the rice paddy, watching the sunset. Those are moments in time that can never be erased, can't be taken away from you at all. So however you can do to create those moments for people, I mean, why wouldn't you?
It's at the service to the world.
It's almost like hoarding your gift. Sharing is the worst, is the lesser option. Like, of course you can share it. And if it's a one-person retreat, even if you're just going to take one person for one day and share it, if that's what you need to feel ready, go do that. Go do it to make yourself feel comfortable, to make yourself get there.
I mean, honestly, I think that what you should ask yourself is, who are you to hoard and withhold your gifts from the world?
And who are you not to? Who are you not to? Not to share it. I don't think any of the best and most successful and most, inspirational, like if you think of Oprah and all these, if they said, I'm not ready, what would have happened? People would not have had that opportunity. And so it's that leap and the net will appear, or leap and build the airplane as you're going down. So you can fly.
So I love that one. That question was very juicy. And coming back to the planning, what are the steps that I need to put in place? Like what are the things that need to be ready before I even start selling?
Sure. So this is a perfect segue into what we're going to be doing next week. I've been working on this epic training for you guys. That'll be about 90 minutes. It'll be a full hour and a half. And Catalina's going to help me, and it's going to be amazing. And we're going to really dig through so much stuff. But I have a special gift for you guys who joined us tonight, and anyone who's getting access to the recording. I recorded a 10-minute meditation that's both to help you release any of your old patterns and old mindset around hosting an event or holding space for other people, and then really create some activation and attraction to pull in the most amazing people, the most amazing venue, the best ideas, the best collaborators for your retreat vision. So it's sort of a retreat vision meditation, and that's going to be free for you guys. Next week, we'll be digging into what I call the DIRT method. I'm calling it the DIRT method because that's the DIRT. But I thought it was funny because it's like you have to get dirty. You have to really get dirty to create these events. And so it has to do with, so I'll give you just a quick overview. So D stands for decide, which has to do with mindset. And I think mindset is a huge piece of hosting a retreat. And then the idea, right? Taking that idea, like letting yourself have it, receive it, allowing it to be. I think a lot of us have ideas for events and we just go, that's impossible. I can never do that. Like, no, I can't do that. And so it's part of it is that decision to get in the mindset. So when the idea comes in, you can say yes and you can accept it. And so we'll dig into how to flesh out your idea and really then take your idea and then do some research on it. So where you would host it, how much it would cost, who would attend, and then really starting to go into surveying, which you and I have talked about, and interviewing, and really what we call validating the idea. So making sure the idea will actually sell. A lot of us sometimes create ideas and then try and sell them without validating it, making sure that the audience, that the community actually wants that. And then the T is testing it. So, testing copy, testing a sales page or a splash page for interest, and really getting out there and letting the world see it and respond, and potentially starting to get people interested. And so the DIRT method we'll go into for 90 minutes on, I think it's the 16th, a little bit earlier in the day. Just so we can do it. And then I just want to give everyone an opportunity to really, if you feel called to host an event, especially in the next 12 months, but even if it's in the next 2 years, to really commit, get dirty, get in there with the idea and start fleshing it out. But it's really those things. It's deciding you're going to do it, fleshing out the idea, doing some serious research, really real research, not like hypothetical, maybe someday in the future, but like, could I do this? Let your imagination get grounded, and then start testing it and start getting some validation, and even getting maybe some pre-sales or getting people in the door who say, yes, I want to be a part of it.
I was gonna say that's the biggest validation. That's the biggest test. When people actually give you money and give you the deposit.
Oh yeah,
and that's when you know. Okay.
This is real. Yeah, this is real. This is going to happen. And I think if you can get through that piece, you can do the rest. It's really getting through those first few steps. And I think it can be hard. And I think that's why you and we got on the phone and we've been talking to each other, and why we wanted to sort of create this opening in this community. People can actually talk to each other, get the support, share the resources. If you're here and you're on live with us and you're not in the Facebook group, we'll put the Facebook group here in the chat, but we want you in the Facebook group. We've already got some people sharing their big dreams for retreats. We want to hear yours. We want to support you. We want to share resources.
Vision.
Yeah. Take it out of your head and put it on a piece of paper, type it up, make it real. Put it in this reality. Get it out of the imagination and turn it into something a little more grounded.
Well, Lynan, this has been so enlightening.
Yeah,
I had a lot more questions, but we've been going on for a while now.
Yeah,
so I feel that we should close up this one. But I think that method, the DIRT method, and going into the launch strategy and all that might be the next step that we need to dive into.
I think it is. And so I want to just open up any final questions. Quick type them over. If you think about them afterward, you can put them in the Facebook group. We'll probably be answering them through the weekend. But we're so grateful that you came here. We're so grateful that you have this soul pull, this calling to host retreats, to start hosting events. We really want you to stay connected. We want to know about your vision. We want to know you, essentially. A lot of you know me. I want to make sure Catalina gets to know you too. So introduce yourself in the Facebook group and say hello.
Yes, please do. And please do not hold back. You need to be creative experiences. That's what you're here for.
Yeah. And don't wait till you feel ready. Don't wait till it's perfect, because it never will be. Just got to get out there and do it. Okay, we've got one real quick. I've been experimenting about the idea, but I'm still not sure or validated about the deal if it would sell. I think I need more info and tips on that. So we'll definitely be going into that during the training. But what I will say is I wouldn't experiment with the idea. I would flesh out the idea. Come up with maybe a month, or even if you can pick a week, a potential time of the month, like beginning of the month, ending of the month. Commit to that time, know how much it costs to be at your venue, know about how much you want to charge, if you're including any bonuses or food, know how much those are costed out at, and start speaking to people who you believe would come, who would attend. And if you're not connected to those people, this is when you need to start to shift the way you start to interact with your world. So whether it's attending networking events, making new friends, getting outside of your comfort zone and plugging into the people who would love this event, who one of my mentors always talked about this, who wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat or can't fall asleep because they're so worried about that problem. They're looking desperately for the solution. Go find them. Go tell them that this is out there for them and that you have an amazing solution for them. And so if you have a community that you can ask, hey, would you come to this? This is about how much it would cost. Can you tell any of your friends, even if it's not for them, do you know anybody? Is there anyone you can connect me to? It's really asking. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So just ask and leverage your network. This is something I've always loved doing because I'm a master networker and I love networking. But I really invite you guys to get out of your comfort zones with this and really just ask. Ask for support. Ask for people to share.
Yes. She's like, well, sounds awesome.
Okay, good. All right. So grateful you guys joined us. We have a few people just joined the Facebook group. Yes. So I will be sending out in the Facebook group. So if you got to join the Facebook group to come and get our meditation. Tomorrow morning, we'll have up a link where you put in your email and you get the meditation. And then next week, you'll get access to the training call, which we probably won't do on BLAB, which will make a lot of people happy. And we'll have a special worksheet to take you through the DIRT method and how to get dirty to start creating your retreat and start to actually make it happen. And we'll also probably put in there some really cool case studies of people I've worked with for their live events and for their event planning and things like that have actually worked, like tried and tested. And I know Catalina has some great tips as well.
And guys, please share if you have any friends that might benefit from this, that are thinking about perhaps hosting a workshop, an event, anything that is transformational in any area, please share with them.
Yeah, yoga, breath work, coaching, consulting, anybody who's like a chef, cooking classes, cycling, fitness, CrossFit, anything. There's really so many unlimited potential for live events that are transformational and are amazing retreats. So thank you so much. Big hugs. So much love from Berlin. And
from Sydney.
From Sydney. So we're all over the world, and we hope you'll join us next week, next Thursday, for an in-depth training. This is for those who are like activated, serious, ready to deep dive with us. We are putting together an awesome free training just for you guys to really get you going and get some amazing events coming out of this community.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have the recording link in the Facebook group, and feel free to share it, like we said, with your friends. All right, bye guys. Bye.